Yo, 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 what's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant, back with another one. Shout out to the SCE, the BCE. Shout out to my boy Mello, that's the president. Shout out to my boy Jeezy, that's the manager. Shout out to my cousin Hulk. She been supporting since day one, since we was on the old channel. Now we moving on. I love that and I love you, cuzzo. Ain't figured out the new campaign, so we in free agency right now, so you know what I mean, that's just what it is. But nonetheless, you see the content of the video. Let's get into this. Mr. Wembanyama. I've been kind of standoffish with with evaluating Victor Wembanyama, just because the hype train of the media has been in full force behind him. There's been, some critics over criticizing, hating, saying that the kid wasn't gonna really pan out. So I'm just kind of in the middle with it. I'm kind of letting things play out at first. If you was to ask me what I think Wembanyama is going to be or could be and all that kind of stuff, I say he could be definitely one of the best to ever do it. I do have some concerns. I think I said this in a video before, but I do have concerns about his kinetics, his body structure. Typically, in NBA history, doesn't hold up. We've seen it with a lot of the taller guys in the league. I wouldn't say Bol or Sean Bradley, but there's been a number of dudes, the super tall archetype. Who have not panned out because the game of basketball is so taxing on the body that it is easy for a tall player like that to suffer many injuries, especially in those joint areas. So when it came to evaluating Victor Wembanyama, like I said, I'm kind of standoffish. I'm kind of just kind of watching, much like I did with Giannis, much like I did with Joker. I can appreciate the media and how they evaluate the game to only an extent. It's just like they hype up these guys so they can make some money. They don't really usually hype up dudes just because they're uber talented. I mean, Anthony Bennett was a #1 pick. Kwame Brown was a #1 pick, although I don't knock Kwame as much as I knock other guys, these other busts, as much as the media does. Y'all excuse me, man. I'm getting my singing voice back. But nonetheless, Victor Wembanyama had a fantastic game last night, putting up 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. I don't think he played very long. He played like 20-something minutes. I gotta look back on that, look back at that particular number, but I was very impressed with Victor Wembanyama last night. All good in his early morning work. Very impressed with the young man, primarily because he played. I didn't recap his first game against the Hornets. I just was a little busy at the time. But we can get into it now. That first game, I just felt like he was a little bit intimidated, but I liked first game on American soil. Naturally playing outside of his very own comfort zone. So he did look a little shaky. He missed like 12 out of his 15 shots. I think 12 or 13 out of his 15 shots. What did he put up? Like 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks. And some people in the media was killing him. They were just like jumping on him, like, oh, he's a bust, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, this is why that's why I say I can only appreciate the media to an extent, because they just overdo everything. You know what I mean? It's never a fair assessment when the media, the mainstream media is evaluating you. So it went from, everybody was all hyped. Everybody was talking about Victor Wembanyama this, Victor Wembanyama that, to after his first game, those same guys was calling him a bust. Now everybody's back on the Victor Wembanyama wave, and now I kind of see what the trend is going to be with this young man. You know what I mean? At least these first probably year or two. You know, there's going to be a lot of people, you know, on the hype train, and then might jump off the hype train all of a sudden if he doesn't perform well in the season. So that's what it's looking like the trend is going to be now, and that's why I say I'm gonna fall back and I'm gonna give you all the fair assessment, the fair evaluation. How Wembanyama played yesterday, I feel like that's how that's his potential right there. That's what we've seen overseas in France. That's what we, you know, expect from great players, and so that's what I was seeing from him. You know what I mean? Finally, kind of seeing that he's seeing flashes of what he can be at his full potential. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing. Very, very efficient offensively. He's a 3-level scorer for sure. Defensively, I think he could be scary. He could probably be one of the scariest players of all time, you know, defensively. And just how he can get after the ball. You know, not necessarily how he does get after the ball, but, you know, he definitely shows a defensive awareness, you know, for the game, for sure. Sorry, guys, I'm just riding through this traffic trying to make sure I get through it. But anyway, yeah, he impressed me very much so on defense. He impressed me with his ability to score on all 3 levels. He was showing that mid-range game this time around. Just beautiful basketball. What I'm more so concerned about is how Wembanyama's attitude, and, you know, how that's going to translate over to the game. Hopefully he's not one of them diva types. I did see his interview after his first game, in which he discussed, like, you know, he only had 2 practices in 1 game in his 2 weeks in America so far, going on 3 now. And he was, you know, he admitted, like, the nerves and everything. And first, I want to quote my boy right, he admitted that he hated, you know, the American media schedule, and how, you know, most of his schedule was not playing basketball, which I respect that. You know, Wembanyama's, he said he just want to come over here and hoop. He kind of seems like that kind of guy that just wants to hoop. And I can respect that. I definitely respect that aspect of the gentleman. You know, I don't really care for all the media hoopla, all the hundreds of videos and all that kind of stuff either. It's just, you know, it's a part of the game. So anyway, yeah, very impressed with the young man last night. Very impressed. He really showed me that. He showed me what he could be, you know, at full potential. Definitely showed us what, you know, flashes of his talent, you know, of all the things that made him the #1 prospect. And I feel like, yo, this kid could be great. You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm gonna fall back and just kind of watch a little bit more and you know, kind of assess the situation as it goes. But as of right now, Wembanyama has shown me. He showed me something last night, you know. And let's not put too much weight on these summer league games. You know, I know a lot of people like to get hyped, especially with the top prospects. A lot of people get hyped up watching these summer league games. You got to remember, all these dudes in the summer league are competing for a spot. You know what I mean, for the most part. So it's not the true basketball. We're not seeing the real form of these guys in basketball. It's more so just like a open gym YMCA kind of a deal. So I can appreciate that as well, but I'm not going to put too much weight on these summer league games. You know, the season opens in September, October, and I got to see what the schedule's looking like, especially for the Spurs. That first game, I'm going to be tapped in and be tuned in. I'm excited to see what this kid is going to be able to do. I'm excited to see what he does, you know, in an actual NBA game. You know, he's going to have to eventually go up against the heavy hitters, man. He got to go against the Giannis's. He's going to have to go face the Joel Embiids, the Jokers, the Steph Currys, the LeBrons, the ADs. He's going to have to go up against the Monstars eventually. And so I'm just going to appreciate him for what we're getting out of him now. So Victor Wembanyama did a very good job last night. We'll see what happens game 3. I know they got the Washington Wizards. So interesting game. But nonetheless, it's your boy Tony the Savant. So all I got for y'all, man. Y'all be blessed. I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I'm a savant. You heard?